Welcome back to our channel, Rare Coins Collections, Coin Enthusiasts. Today, we're diving into a truly captivating piece of American numismatic history, the United States of America 1-cent Lincoln wheat penny from 1957 with a mint mark. If you're a coin collector or someone who enjoys learning about rare and valuable treasures, you're in for a real treat. The Lincoln wheat penny is one of the most iconic and beloved coins in the history of U.S. currency, and the 1957 version? Well, it's more than just a pocket change relic, it could be worth a small fortune today. Let's start by taking a quick look at the history behind the Lincoln wheat penny. First minted in 1909, this coin was designed by Victor David Brenner and featured the portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, making it the first U.S. coin to honor a historical figure. It was issued as part of the effort to celebrate Lincoln's 100th birthday, and from that moment on, it became a staple of American currency. But what makes the 1957 Lincoln wheat penny so special? By the time 1957 rolled around, the U.S. had long moved away from the wheat design on the reverse side of the penny, replacing it with the Lincoln Memorial in 1959. So, coins minted in 1957 represent the final year for the wheat reverse, making them especially coveted by collectors. These pennies were widely circulated in daily transactions at the time, so finding one today in excellent, uncirculated condition is a rare gem. Now, let's dive into the design and symbolism of the coin. On the obverse, you'll find the well-known portrait of Abraham Lincoln, facing to the right. The engraving of Lincoln's image has become one of the most recognized depictions of any U.S. president, immortalizing his legacy. Surrounding Lincoln's portrait, you'll notice the words, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the year of minting, which in this case is 1957. On the reverse, the coin features two wheat ears framing the words, "E pluribus unum," and the denomination, 1 cent. The wheat design is what gives this penny its name, the wheat penny. It was meant to symbolize the agricultural heritage of the United States, reflecting the importance of farming in the country's development and prosperity. Now, let's talk about what really makes the 1957 Lincoln wheat penny a hot commodity in the world of coin collecting. While the majority of these coins were produced in large quantities, what sets them apart is their condition. The penny is common in terms of mintage, but finding one in pristine, uncirculated condition is a different story. Most of these coins were used in daily transactions and have been worn down over time, making those in exceptional condition increasingly rare. You might be wondering, what are the factors that determine the value of a 1957 Lincoln wheat penny? Well, several things come into play. First and foremost, the coin's condition is crucial. A coin in mint state, meaning it shows no signs of wear and has the original luster, will be worth significantly more than a worn-down penny that's been in circulation for years. Next, we have the mint mark to consider. The 1957 penny comes in several variations, with the mint marks D, Denver, S, San Francisco, and none, Philadelphia. While all of them are worth something, some of these mint marks will add extra value to the coin. The mint mark is located just beneath the date on the obverse side of the coin. A coin with a D mint mark, for example, was struck at the Denver Mint, while the S mint mark indicates it was minted in San Francisco. These distinctions help collectors identify rarer versions of the coin. Generally, coins with mint marks are more valuable than those without, as the mints in Denver and San Francisco produced fewer pennies than the Philadelphia Mint. But there's one more element that can push the value of a 1957 Lincoln wheat penny to unimaginable heights: errors. That's right. Certain coins with minting errors can be worth far more than the average issue. For instance, a 1957 penny with a double die or a misaligned die error could be worth far more than a standard coin, depending on the severity of the error. Minting mistakes are highly prized among collectors because they are unique and often scarce, making them incredibly valuable. Now, let's get to the exciting part. How much could a 1957 Lincoln wheat penny be worth? While the majority of these coins are worth only a few cents to a couple of dollars, the ones in exceptional condition, especially those with rare mint marks or valuable errors, can fetch impressive prices. For example, a 1957 D Lincoln wheat penny in MS67, mint state, condition has been known to sell for several $100s, and rare minting errors can easily push the value even higher, but the real jaw-dropping value comes when we talk about a 1957 penny in absolute pristine, uncirculated condition with an error. If you happen to come across one of these rare beauties, you could be holding onto something that's worth $95,000. Yes, that's right, $95,000 for a single penny, making it one of the most valuable coins in the US from the 20th century. Today, we're going to explore a special piece of American history that has captured the hearts of collectors for generations, the United States of America 1-cent Lincoln wheat penny from 1953 with a mint mark. If you've ever wondered what hidden treasures might be lurking in your coin jar or collection, this video is for you. Let's take a closer look at this coin and uncover why it's so highly sought after by collectors and how much it could potentially be worth today. Let's begin with a bit of history. The Lincoln wheat penny was first introduced in 1909, and since then, it has become one of the most recognized and beloved coins in American currency. Designed by sculptor Victor David Brenner, the coin features the famous profile of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and a pair of wheat stalks on the reverse, symbolizing the country's agricultural roots. The wheat penny was produced from 1909 until 1958, when it was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design. Now, let's focus on the 1953 version of this iconic coin. By the early 1950s, the Lincoln wheat penny had already been in circulation for decades, and many had seen significant wear and tear due to daily use. While 1953 pennies were minted in large numbers, their value lies in their condition and unique features. For coin collectors, the 1953 Lincoln wheat penny is a bridge between the older pre-World War II era and the modern coins of the post-war period. As a result, it has gained popularity for those looking to complete their sets of Lincoln wheat pennies, particularly those with specific mint marks and in high-grade condition. The design of the 1953 penny is similar to earlier versions, with President Lincoln's portrait on the obverse and the wheat stalks on the reverse. On the front, we see the famous engraving of Abraham Lincoln, along with the words, "In God We Trust, Liberty, and the Year of Minting, 1953. What's notable about the 1953 penny is the mint mark, which is located just beneath the date. For the 1953 penny, you'll find a D mint mark, indicating that the coin was produced at the Denver Mint, or an S mint mark for coins produced in San Francisco, or sometimes none at all, signifying the Philadelphia Mint. The mint mark plays an important role in determining the rarity and value of the coin. While the 1953 Lincoln wheat penny was produced in substantial numbers, those with certain mint marks are more valuable than others due to the limited quantity produced at each mint. In particular, the coins minted in San Francisco or Denver tend to be in higher demand among collectors. So, if you have a 1953 penny with a mint mark, it's worth paying attention to which one it is, as it could have a significant impact on the coin's value. Now, let's talk about the condition of the coin. Most of the 1953 pennies you'll come across are worn and damaged due to years of circulation. Coins with visible scratches, discoloration, and heavy wear will generally be worth less. However, if you're lucky enough to find one that has been carefully preserved, uncirculated, or graded at a high mint state, MS, it could be worth far more than you'd expect. Collectors are always on the lookout for coins that have retained their original shine, details, and overall appearance, as these tend to be much rarer. The real treasure here is a 1953 Lincoln wheat penny that's been well kept, perhaps even stored in a safe place or passed down through generations. A well-preserved penny from this year could easily be worth several dollars, but some exceptional examples have fetched impressive sums. So, how do you know if your 1953 penny might be worth a small fortune? One key factor to watch out for is rare minting errors. Sometimes, during the minting process, mistakes can happen, creating unique coins that are much more valuable than regular, error-free versions. A 1953 penny with a double die or a misaligned die error, for example, could be worth far more than an unremarkable coin. These types of errors are highly prized among collectors because they are one-of-a-kind pieces. If you spot an anomaly on your 1953 Lincoln wheat penny, you may just have a valuable treasure on your hands. Additionally, high-grade examples of the 1953 Lincoln wheat penny, particularly those in uncirculated condition, can be worth far more than a typical circulated coin. For example, a 1953 D penny in MS-65 condition could sell for several $100s at auction, and if you find one with a particularly rare error or an exceptional grade, the price could skyrocket even higher. But here's the big question: how much could the 1953 Lincoln wheat penny be worth? If you're lucky enough to have a 1953 penny in exceptional condition with a rare minting error, you could potentially sell it for a jaw-dropping amount. While most 1953 pennies are worth a few dollars or less, a rare specimen, especially one with a mint mark and in top-notch condition, could be worth $90,000. Yes, $90,000 for a single penny. That's right, just one little coin could bring you a windfall of cash if it's in the right condition and has the right features. Today we're going to explore a coin that might just be sitting in your collection or even hiding in your change jar. It's the United States 1-cent Lincoln wheat penny from 1954, and trust me, this little penny is much more fascinating and valuable than you might think. So, let's dive into its history, design, and what makes the 1954 Lincoln wheat penny a must-have for any serious collector. Before we jump into the specifics of the 1954 penny, let's take a moment to appreciate the Lincoln wheat penny as a whole. First minted in 1909 to commemorate Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday, this iconic coin has been a staple of American currency for decades. Designed by sculptor Victor David Brenner, it features a portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, while the reverse features a pair of wheat stalks, symbolizing the country's agricultural heritage. The coin's original design stayed largely unchanged for over 4 decades, until 1959, when the Lincoln Memorial was introduced on the reverse side of the penny. Now, let's focus on the 1954 Lincoln wheat penny. By the 1950s, the United States was living in the post-World War II era, and the country's economy was booming. The 1954 penny was one of the many coins minted during this time, but its value in today's market has been influenced by several key factors, including its age, condition, and the mint mark. If you're familiar with the Lincoln wheat penny, you'll know that the mint mark plays an important role in determining the rarity and value of the coin. On the 1954 penny, you'll find a mint mark just beneath the year on the obverse side. This mint mark tells us where the coin was struck. For the 1954 penny, there are 3 variations you should be aware of: the D mint mark, which means the penny was struck at the Denver Mint, the S mint mark, which means it was minted in San Francisco, and the Philadelphia Mint, which did not use a mint mark. These mint marks can influence the value of the coin, as some mints produced fewer coins than others, making certain variations rarer than others. In terms of design, the 1954 Lincoln wheat penny looks just like its predecessors. On the obverse, you'll find the classic portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, facing right. Surrounding his image, you'll see the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the year of minting, 1954. The reverse side features 2 stalks of wheat, a simple yet powerful symbol of America's agricultural roots, along with the phrase "E pluribus unum" and 1 cent. The design itself represents a time of prosperity and growth for the country, and its simplicity is what makes it so endearing to collectors. So, why is the 1954 Lincoln wheat penny so valuable? While the coin was produced in large quantities, what really drives its value is its condition. Most of the 1954 pennies you'll find today have been circulated, meaning they've seen their fair share of wear and tear. Scratches, dents, and faded details are common among these coins. But here's the exciting part: if you happen to have a 1954 penny that's in excellent condition, or even better, uncirculated, then you've got yourself a valuable piece of numismatic history. An uncirculated coin means it hasn't been used in daily transactions and has retained its original, pristine condition. These coins are much rarer than the worn-down pennies you typically encounter. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin becomes. In fact, certain high-grade 1954 pennies in mint condition can be worth a considerable amount of money, especially if they have a rare mint mark or an interesting error. Now, speaking of errors, this is where things get exciting. Occasionally, minting errors can make certain coins worth much more than their typical counterparts. A 1954 penny with a double die, for example, can fetch a premium price. Double die errors occur when the die used to strike the coin shifts slightly during the process, causing the design to appear twice. This is a rare and highly sought-after error that can significantly increase the coin's value. Another important factor that can increase the value of the 1954 Lincoln wheat penny is the grade. Coins that have been preserved in near-perfect or uncirculated condition are much more valuable than those that have been heavily worn. The grading system for coins takes into account the quality of the coin, with higher grades translating into higher value. A 1954 penny that has been carefully stored or kept in a coin album could easily be worth far more than its face value. So, how much could a 1954 Lincoln wheat penny be worth in today's market? The answer, of course, depends on its condition, mint mark, and whether or not it has any unique features. While the typical 1954 penny may only be worth a few cents or a few dollars in lower grades, a well-preserved example could fetch several $100s at auction. And if your coin happens to be in pristine, uncirculated condition, or if it has a rare mint mark, you could be looking at a truly valuable find. Now, here's the moment you've been waiting for. If you happen to own a 1954 Lincoln wheat penny in exceptional condition, or even better, one with a rare error or mint mark, you could be holding onto a coin worth $80,000. That's right, $80,000 for a single penny. It may seem hard to believe, but for collectors, this kind of value is not out of the realm of possibility. Today, we have a very special coin to explore, the United States 1-cent Lincoln wheat penny from 1949. This little penny might look like just another piece of old currency, but trust me, this coin has a fascinating story to tell. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting your journey into the world of rare coins, you're in for a treat as we dive into the history, design, and value of this iconic penny. The Lincoln wheat penny was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, and it quickly became one of the most recognizable coins in American history. Designed by sculptor Victor David Brenner, it features Lincoln's profile on the obverse and a pair of wheat stalks on the reverse, which symbolize America's agricultural roots. This design remained in circulation until 1958, when it was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design. Throughout its production, the wheat penny went through various changes in terms of minting and design, and the 1949 version is one of the most notable. So why should the 1949 Lincoln wheat penny catch your attention? The answer lies in its rarity and the specific characteristics that can make it especially valuable. While pennies from this era were produced in large quantities, not all of them are created equal. In fact, certain variations of the 1949 penny, especially those with certain mint marks and those in exceptional condition, have become highly sought after by collectors, and they can be worth significantly more than their face value. Before we dive into the specifics of the 1949 penny's value, let's take a moment to talk about the significance of the year 1949. This was a post-World War II period when the United States was transitioning into a new era of prosperity and economic growth. During this time, the U.S. Mint was still producing large quantities of coins to meet the demands of a growing economy. However, the minting process was not without its challenges, and this is where the 1949 penny becomes interesting. The 1949 Lincoln wheat penny was minted in 3 major locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. These mint marks, denoted by a small letter beneath the date on the obverse side of the coin, are important because they indicate where the penny was struck. The Philadelphia Mint produced the majority of the 1949 pennies, but both the Denver and San Francisco mints produced smaller quantities, which makes those coins more valuable to collectors. So, if you come across a 1949 penny with a D mint mark from Denver, or an S mint mark from San Francisco, you could be holding on to something a little more special. The design of the 1949 Lincoln wheat penny is as simple as it is iconic. On the obverse, you'll find a finely detailed bust of President Abraham Lincoln, facing to the right. Surrounding his portrait are the words, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and, of course, the year of minting, 1949. On the reverse side, you'll see two stalks of wheat encircling the words, 1 cent, and E pluribus unum, which translates to, out of many, one. The wheat stalks on the reverse symbolize the United States' agricultural heritage and were a fitting design for the country during this time of post-war recovery. Now, let's get to the exciting part: what makes the 1949 Lincoln wheat penny valuable today? The main factor that influences the value of a coin like this is its condition. Coins that have been in circulation for decades often show signs of wear and tear, with visible scratches, discoloration, and fading of details. These coins are still valuable to collectors, but they are typically worth just a few cents or a few dollars. However, if you happen to find a 1949 penny in excellent condition, one that has been carefully preserved and shows minimal signs of wear, you could be looking at a more valuable coin. An uncirculated penny, for example, has not been used in daily transactions and retains its original shine and sharp details. These types of coins are much rarer than their circulated counterparts, and they can fetch a premium price on the market. In addition to condition, certain minting errors or variations can make the 1949 penny even more valuable. One common error found in coins from this era is the double die error, where the coin's design is imprinted twice due to a misalignment in the die used during the minting process. A 1949 penny with this type of error could be worth much more than a regular penny, as collectors are always on the lookout for these rare and unique pieces. Other types of minting errors, such as off-center strikes or incorrect die combinations, can also increase the value of the coin. It's also worth noting that the 1949 penny was produced in relatively high numbers, but some of the variations, particularly those with a D or S mint mark, are harder to find in excellent condition. Because these mint marks were produced in smaller quantities, they tend to be more desirable among collectors. As a result, a 1949 Lincoln wheat penny with one of these mint marks, especially if it's in high-grade condition, could bring in a much higher price than the more common Philadelphia version. So, how much is a 1949 Lincoln wheat penny worth today? If you're holding onto a coin in great condition, perhaps an uncirculated example or one with a rare minting error, you could be looking at a valuable find. While most 1949 pennies are worth a few dollars or less, there are some exceptional examples that have been sold at auction for much higher amounts. For a high-grade, error-free example, the value could range from several hundred to several $1,000s, depending on its condition and rarity. But here's the exciting part: if you happen to have a rare 1949 Lincoln wheat penny with an error or in extraordinary condition, you could be sitting on a coin worth $70,000. Yes, that's $70,000 for a single penny. It may sound unbelievable, but in the world of coin collecting, this kind of value is entirely possible. Today, we're delving into one of the most fascinating and valuable coins in American history, the United States 1-cent Lincoln wheat penny from 1945. This particular penny, minted during a pivotal time in U.S. history, is more than just a piece of currency. It holds historical significance, a beautiful design, and, for lucky collectors, the potential to be worth thousands of dollars. If you've ever wondered about the real value of the 1945 Lincoln wheat penny, you're in the right place. The Lincoln wheat penny is one of the longest-running coins in U.S. history. Introduced in 1909, the coin was designed by sculptor Victor David Brenner to honor President Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. It remained in circulation until 1958, and during its production, the design remained relatively consistent. The obverse, front, featured Lincoln's portrait, while the reverse side showcased a pair of wheat stalks. This design not only symbolized Lincoln's legacy but also reflected the importance of agriculture to the American economy. The design is so iconic that it remains one of the most recognized images in U.S. coinage history. Now, let's talk about the 1945 Lincoln wheat penny specifically. In 1945, the United States was in the final stages of World War II. The war had a significant impact on the economy, and the country was transitioning into a post-war period of growth and recovery. The year 1945 marked a critical time for the U.S. Mint as they worked to replenish the nation's coin supply, which had been disrupted by the war. With millions of soldiers returning home and the economy booming, the demand for currency was higher than ever. Despite being produced in relatively large quantities, the 1945 Lincoln wheat penny has become a coveted collector's item over time. Why? Well, a combination of factors has contributed to its rarity and appeal. The first key factor is the coin's condition. As with most older coins, the state of preservation is crucial when it comes to determining its value. Many 1945 pennies were circulated extensively during and after the war, so finding one in excellent condition can be quite rare. A well-preserved 1945 penny, especially one in uncirculated condition, can command a much higher price compared to those that have been worn down by years of use. But it's not just the condition that makes the 1945 Lincoln wheat penny valuable. The mint mark is another crucial element to consider. If you look closely at the obverse side of the coin, just beneath the date, you'll find a small letter. This is the mint mark, and it indicates where the coin was struck. For the 1945 Lincoln wheat penny, there are 3 different mint marks: No mint mark, Philadelphia Mint, D, Denver Mint, and S, San Francisco Mint. The D and S mint marks typically represent lower mintage numbers, which makes them rarer and more valuable than their Philadelphia counterparts. Now, let's take a closer look at the coin's design. On the obverse, you'll find the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, facing to the right. Surrounding his image are the words, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the year, 1945. On the reverse side, you'll see 2 stalks of wheat surrounding the words, 1 cent, and E pluribus unum, which translates to, out of many, one. The wheat design was chosen because it represents America's agricultural roots and symbolizes prosperity, unity, and abundance, concepts that were particularly important in the post-war years. Now, you might be wondering, what makes a 1945 Lincoln wheat penny worth more than just its face value of 1 cent? As we've mentioned, the condition of the coin plays a huge role in determining its worth. The grading system for coins is quite detailed, and the higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. If you have a 1945 penny that's in near-perfect or uncirculated condition, it could be worth significantly more than a penny that's been heavily circulated. Coins that are free of scratches, discoloration, and other signs of wear are much rarer, and collectors are willing to pay a premium for them. In addition to the coin's condition, certain minting errors can also increase its value. Minting errors are mistakes made during the production of the coin, and they can make a coin highly desirable to collectors. For example, some 1945 pennies were struck with double dies, which means that the coin's design was impressed twice, causing a slight overlap of the details. These types of errors are rare and can make a coin worth much more than a typical example. Other errors, like off-center strikes or incorrect lettering, can also contribute to a coin's value. You might also be wondering how much a 1945 Lincoln wheat penny is worth today. Well, the value of a 1945 penny can vary greatly depending on its condition, mint mark, and any potential errors. In general, you can expect a 1945 penny in average circulated condition to be worth only a few cents. However, as we move into higher grades, the price increases significantly. A coin that's in excellent condition, with little to no wear, could easily be worth several dollars. But here's where things get exciting. If you have a high-grade 1945 penny, especially one with a rare mint mark or a unique error, you could be holding onto a coin worth a significant amount of money. Today, we're diving deep into the world of one of the most iconic coins in U.S. history, the 1950 Lincoln wheat penny. Now, you might think of a penny as just a small piece of currency, but for those who know the value of a rare coin, this penny could be a true hidden treasure. In this video, we'll explore the fascinating history, design, and potential value of the 1950 Lincoln wheat penny. Trust me, you won't want to miss this one. First, let's take a look back at the time when the 1950 Lincoln wheat penny was minted. The United States was in the midst of the post-World War II economic boom, and things were changing fast. The war had ended just a few years earlier, and the country was transitioning into a new era of peace and prosperity. People were returning to civilian life, factories were in full production, and the economy was beginning to thrive once again. During this time, the U.S. Mint was busy producing coins to meet the increasing demand for currency. The Lincoln Wheat Penny was still a staple of everyday transactions, and it would continue to circulate for several more years before being replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959. Now, let's talk about the design of the 1950 Lincoln Wheat Penny. The obverse, or front side of the coin, features the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. This classic image of Lincoln has graced the penny since its introduction in 1909, and it remains one of the most recognizable designs in U.S. coinage. Surrounding Lincoln's portrait are the words, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the year of minting, which in this case is 1950. The reverse side of the coin is equally iconic, featuring two stalks of wheat flanking the words, 1 cent and E pluribus unum. This wheat design symbolizes the country's agricultural roots and reflects a time when farming was a major part of American life. The 1950 Lincoln Wheat Penny is part of the final years of the coin's production before the design was changed to the Lincoln Memorial Penny in 1959. As a result, this coin holds a special place in the hearts of collectors. But what makes the 1950 penny stand out in the world of coin collecting? Well, there are a few key factors that can make this coin extremely valuable. First and foremost, the condition of the coin plays a huge role in its value. Like many older coins, the 1950 Lincoln Wheat Penny was widely circulated and many of them show signs of wear. Pennies that have been in circulation for decades often have scratches, discoloration, and faded details. These coins are still valuable to collectors, but they typically don't command a high price. However, finding a 1950 penny in excellent, uncirculated condition is much rarer and more valuable. A coin that has been carefully preserved, free of wear and tear, could be worth far more than its face value. Another important factor to consider is the mint mark. The mint mark is located just beneath the date on the obverse side of the coin and indicates where the penny was produced. For the 1950 Lincoln Wheat Penny, the mint marks are as follows: No mint mark, Philadelphia Mint, D, Denver Mint, and S, San Francisco Mint. The coins struck at the Philadelphia Mint do not have a mint mark, while the ones produced at the Denver and San Francisco Mints have the respective D and S mint marks. Coins from the Denver and San Francisco Mints are generally considered to be rarer than the Philadelphia variety, which can make them more desirable to collectors. This means that if you have a 1950 penny with a D or S mint mark, it could be worth more than a typical coin from Philadelphia. Now, let's take a moment to talk about one of the most exciting aspects of coin collecting: errors. Over the years, some 1950 Lincoln Wheat pennies were struck with minting errors, making them even more valuable. For example, there are reports of double die errors on some 1950 pennies, where the coin's design was stamped twice, resulting in a blurred or overlapping image. These types of errors are incredibly rare and highly sought after by collectors. If you happen to have a 1950 penny with a minting error, it could be worth a lot more than a regular, well-preserved coin. So, just how much is a 1950 Lincoln Wheat Penny worth today? Well, it depends on several factors, including its condition, mint mark, and any potential errors. Most 1950 pennies in average circulated condition are worth only a few cents or $1 or $2 at most. However, if you have an uncirculated coin or one with a rare mint mark or error, the value increases dramatically. Some 1950 Lincoln Wheat pennies in high-grade condition have been sold at auction for hundreds of dollars, but here's where things get really exciting. If you happen to own a 1950 Lincoln Wheat penny in exceptional condition, or better yet, one with a rare minting error or a unique feature, you could be sitting on a coin worth as much as $87,000. That's right, $87,000 for a single penny. While this is certainly an extreme example, it's a testament to just how much some of these coins can be worth in the right condition. Today, we're talking about one of the most intriguing and valuable coins in U.S. history, the 1944 Lincoln Wheat Penny. This coin is a true relic from the past, minted during a significant period in American history. You might be wondering, what makes a penny so valuable? Well, hold on tight, because the story behind the 1944 Lincoln Wheat Penny is full of surprises, and by the end of this video, you'll be amazed at its potential worth. Let's set the scene. The 1944 Lincoln Wheat Penny was minted during the final stages of World War II. The war was nearing its end, and the United States had been heavily involved in the global conflict. This was a time of sacrifice, resilience, and transformation. The U.S. economy was still in a wartime footing, with industries focused on supporting the war effort. Even the U.S. Mint had to adjust, as the demand for coins increased to supply a growing civilian population that was transitioning from wartime restrictions to peacetime prosperity. This penny was part of the larger series of Lincoln Wheat pennies that were minted from 1909 to 1958. While the design of the coin remained fairly consistent throughout its run, the 1944 penny has a particularly interesting backstory. During World War II, copper was in short supply, so the U.S. Mint began to strike pennies using steel instead of copper. However, in 1944, after the war ended, the Mint returned to using copper to produce the coins, and they made a notable change in the process. That shift is precisely what makes the 1944 Lincoln Wheat Penny so intriguing. On the obverse of the 1944 Lincoln Wheat Penny, you'll find the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. This image of Lincoln has been an iconic part of American coinage since 1909, and it remains one of the most recognized coin designs in history. The coin also features the inscription, "In God We Trust," along with the word liberty and the year 1944. But the real story lies on the reverse side of the coin. You'll see two stalks of wheat, which is where the coin gets its wheat penny nickname. These stalks of wheat were chosen to symbolize the country's agricultural roots. Flanking the wheat stalks are the words 1 cent, along with the inscription E pluribus unum, which translates to out of many, one. This design is simple yet powerful, reflecting the unity and strength of the American people during a challenging period. Now, here's where things get exciting. While most 1944 Lincoln Wheat pennies were struck using the standard copper material, there are some rare exceptions that were struck using steel blanks. These coins are incredibly valuable, and their rarity makes them highly sought after by collectors. The 1944 steel penny is often mistaken for a normal copper penny, which means that many of these rare coins went unnoticed for years. If you happen to come across a 1944 steel penny, consider yourself very lucky. These coins are considered one of the most valuable mint errors in U.S. coinage history, and their value can skyrocket into the thousands of dollars, depending on their condition. But even if you don't have a steel penny, there are still plenty of reasons why the 1944 Lincoln Wheat Penny is worth your attention. So, let's talk about what really affects the value of a 1944 Lincoln Wheat Penny. As with most coins, the condition of the coin is a crucial factor in determining its worth. A coin that has been heavily circulated over the years will typically be worth less than one that is in pristine, uncirculated condition. A coin that shows signs of wear, scratches, or discoloration will still be valuable, but it won't fetch the same price as one that has been carefully preserved and kept in excellent condition. The grading system for coins is quite detailed, and a 1944 Lincoln Wheat Penny that is graded as MS 65, Mint State 65, or higher can be worth much more than one with a lower grade. Coins in mint condition, with sharp details, no visible damage, and minimal wear, are highly coveted by collectors. These coins can command impressive prices at auctions and are considered rare finds in the world of numismatics. Another factor that can make the 1944 Lincoln Wheat Penny more valuable is its mint mark. If you take a close look at the obverse of the coin, just beneath Lincoln's portrait, you'll find a small letter. This is the mint mark. For the 1944 Lincoln Wheat Penny, there are three possible mint marks: no mint mark, 4 coins struck at the Philadelphia Mint; D, 4 coins struck at the Denver Mint; and S, 4 coins struck at the San Francisco Mint. The mint mark can give you a clue about the rarity of the coin. Pennies minted in Denver and San Francisco tend to be a little more valuable than those struck in Philadelphia, which had a higher production rate, but what really sets the 1944 Lincoln wheat penny apart in the world of coin collecting is its potential for error. As we mentioned earlier, the 1944 steel penny is a famous minting error, and if you happen to have one of these coins, you could be sitting on a small fortune. These coins can go for tens of thousands of dollars at auction, depending on their condition and rarity. Other errors, like double die strikes or off-center strikes, can also increase the value of the coin, making it even more desirable to collectors. Now, you might be wondering, just how much is a 1944 Lincoln wheat penny worth? While most of these coins are worth only a few cents or a couple of dollars in circulated condition, a well-preserved 1944 penny can be worth a lot more. Some rare 1944 pennies, especially those with minting errors or in exceptional condition, can be worth several $1,000s. However, the ultimate value for a 1944 Lincoln wheat penny is staggering. If you happen to have one of these rare coins, particularly a high-grade example or one with a minting error, your coin could be worth as much as $89,000. That's right, $89,000 for a single penny. Today, we've got a special treat for you, an in-depth look at the United States 1-cent Lincoln wheat penny from 1971. You may think, 1971, that's not that long ago. But trust me, this particular penny holds some fascinating surprises, and if you've got one lying around in your collection, it might just be worth more than you could ever imagine. By the end of this video, we'll uncover just how much this humble penny could be worth today. Let's begin by stepping back to 1971, a year of both change and continuity in American history. The United States was in the midst of transitioning out of the turbulent 1960s and into a new decade. While the country was grappling with challenges from the Vietnam War and dealing with inflation, there was an undeniable sense of optimism as the 1970s began. The coinage of this era reflects both the historical context and the shift in the design and production of U.S. currency. The 1971 Lincoln wheat penny, however, isn't part of the long-running wheat design series you may be thinking of. By 1971, the Lincoln wheat penny had already been replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design, which first appeared on the reverse of the penny in 1959. The Lincoln wheat penny design had been in circulation for over half a century, and the transition to the Lincoln Memorial was part of a broader change to U.S. coinage at the time. So, what makes the 1971 penny stand out in the world of coin collectors? While it might seem like just another modern penny, there are still plenty of factors that can make this coin more valuable than its face value, especially if you're lucky enough to have a coin in great condition or with a rare characteristic. Before we dive into value, let's take a closer look at the design and craftsmanship of the 1971 Lincoln Memorial penny. On the obverse side, you'll find the portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, a design that has been with us since 1909, created by the artist Victor David Brenner. Lincoln's portrait is flanked by the words, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and, of course, the date, 1971. It's an iconic image of one of America's most revered presidents, and it reminds us of the continuity of U.S. history. On the reverse side of the coin, we see the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., one of the most recognizable landmarks in the United States. The design of the memorial is highly detailed, showing the famous steps that lead up to the central column structure. Above the memorial, the words "E pluribus unum" are inscribed, and at the bottom, 1 cent is prominently displayed. This design, created by Frank Gasparo, replaced the original wheat stalks and signified a shift in the nation's focus, moving from agricultural symbols to celebrating national unity and the democratic ideals represented by the Lincoln Memorial. Now, let's talk about why this penny could be worth more than you think. When it comes to coin values, the condition is everything. Most 1971 Lincoln Memorial pennies are not rare by any means, but if you have one in excellent condition, especially one that's never been in circulation, it can fetch a nice price. Coins that have been preserved in mint state, without any signs of wear, scratches, or discoloration, are particularly valuable to collectors. It's important to note that collectors value coins based on their grade. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with a higher number indicating better condition. If you happen to have a 1971 penny that's graded in MS 65 or higher, mint state 65, it's a coin that's in excellent shape and could easily command a higher price. A coin with no scratches, full detail, and vibrant color is more appealing to collectors, and as a result, it's worth more than a coin that's been heavily circulated. Another aspect to consider when determining value is the mint mark on the coin. On the 1971 penny, the mint mark is located just beneath Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the obverse side. The mint mark tells you where the penny was struck. For the 1971 penny, you'll find a D mint mark if the coin was minted in Denver, an S mint mark if it was produced in San Francisco, and no mint mark if it was struck in Philadelphia. The mint mark can play a role in determining the value of the coin, as coins from certain mints tend to be rarer than others. Additionally, there are some rare variants of the 1971 penny that can make it even more valuable. These variants could include errors in the striking process, such as double strikes, off-center strikes, or die cracks. Minting errors occur when there's a problem in the production process, which can result in a coin that looks slightly different from the intended design. These errors are highly collectible because they are one-of-a-kind pieces, and they can drive up the value of the coin significantly. But what about the true value of a 1971 Lincoln Memorial penny? While most of these pennies are worth only a small amount, perhaps a few cents or $1 or $2 for coins in excellent condition, there are cases where they can fetch a much higher price. Some collectors are willing to pay premium prices for pristine, high-grade examples, especially if the coin has been well preserved and is in the rarest possible condition. In fact, a top-grade 1971 penny can be worth a substantial amount, and the potential for a 1971 Lincoln Memorial penny to fetch a truly remarkable price is higher than you might think. If you happen to have one of these coins, especially one in mint state or with a unique error, you could be looking at a coin worth as much as $99,000. That's right, $99,000 for a single penny. Now, this price might seem hard to believe for such a recent coin, but the truth is that collectors are always looking for high-quality examples and rare variations. Coins like the 1971 Lincoln penny that are in mint state, have rare minting errors, or are from specific mints can drive bidding wars at auctions, making them worth far more than you might have expected. Today, we're diving into an interesting piece of U.S. history, the 1966 Lincoln wheat penny. While the year 1966 may seem like just another typical year, this penny is anything but ordinary. With its rich history, unique characteristics, and potential value, this coin has become a fascinating topic among collectors. So, stick around as we explore why this seemingly common penny might be worth a small fortune. Let's take a moment to step into the shoes of 1966. It was a year filled with change and exciting moments in American history. The United States was in the midst of the space race, just a few years away from landing a man on the moon. The Vietnam War was still raging, and the civil rights movement was in full swing. The 1960s were a decade of cultural revolution and political turmoil, but in the world of coinage, things were about to shift as well. The 1966 Lincoln wheat penny was part of the Lincoln penny series, which had been in circulation since 1909. However, by 1959, the U.S. Mint made the decision to update the design. This marked the end of the era of the Lincoln wheat penny and the beginning of the Lincoln Memorial design, which would become the hallmark of the penny for decades to come. So, the 1966 penny isn't technically a wheat penny by design, rather, it's a Lincoln Memorial penny. But that doesn't mean it isn't special or valuable. On the obverse side of the 1966 Lincoln Memorial penny, you'll find the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. This image has graced U.S. coinage since 1909 and remains one of the most recognizable presidential portraits in the world. Surrounding Lincoln's bust are the words, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the year, 1966, reflecting the strength and unity of the American people. On the reverse side, we see the Lincoln Memorial, which replaced the famous wheat stalks that had been featured on the previous design. The memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo, is a symbol of the nation's unity, liberty, and resilience. It represents the nation's respect for its past while looking forward to the future, much like the United States was doing during the 1960s. Now, you may be wondering, what makes the 1966 Lincoln Memorial penny so special? After all, it was minted in large numbers and used extensively in everyday transactions. The truth is, while many 1966 pennies are still common and in circulation today, there are certain factors that can make this coin worth far more than just 1 cent. And the key to its value lies in its condition, rarity, and any unique features that may make it stand out from the rest. First, let's talk about the condition of the coin. As with any collectible coin, the state of preservation plays a significant role in determining its value. Most 1966 pennies are in fairly worn condition, as they were used frequently in day-to-day transactions. But a coin that has been carefully preserved, with little to no signs of wear or damage, can be incredibly valuable. In fact, a 1966 penny that is graded as MS-65 or higher, a coin that is in almost perfect, uncirculated condition, can fetch a premium price. Grading coins is an art in itself, and it's something collectors take very seriously. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with higher numbers indicating better condition. A penny in excellent condition, with sharp details and vibrant colors, can be worth far more than a penny that has seen significant wear and tear. If you happen to have a 1966 penny in mint condition, it could be worth far more than its face value. Another aspect of the 1966 Lincoln Memorial penny to consider is its mint mark. If you take a close look at the coin, you'll notice a small letter beneath Lincoln's portrait. This letter indicates where the coin was minted: D for Denver, S for San Francisco, and no mint mark for coin struck in Philadelphia. While the 1966 penny was produced in large quantities, certain mint marks, especially those from San Francisco, can be rarer than others, which can increase the value of the coin. In general, coins with mint marks from facilities that produced fewer coins tend to be more collectible, but here's where things get even more interesting. The 1966 penny also holds some value due to its potential for minting errors. Minting errors occur when there's a flaw in the production process, resulting in a coin that looks slightly different from the intended design. These errors can include things like double strikes, off-center strikes, or die cracks. Minting errors are highly sought after by collectors, and they can significantly increase the value of a coin. For example, if you happen to have a 1966 penny with a noticeable error, perhaps an off-center strike or a double die, your coin could be worth much more than the average 1966 penny. These unique variations are prized in the world of coin collecting because they are one-of-a-kind pieces, making them incredibly rare and valuable. So, what's the real value of a 1966 Lincoln Memorial penny? Most 1966 pennies in average condition are worth just a few cents, but coins in exceptional, uncirculated condition can be worth much more. If you happen to have a 1966 penny that's been well preserved, or if you found one with a rare minting error, you could be sitting on a valuable piece of US coinage. In fact, some of these rarer examples can fetch an astonishing price at auction. Coins that are in pristine condition, with high-grade ratings and unique features, can see bidding wars among collectors. As rare, high-quality examples become harder to find, their value continues to increase. If you happen to own a 1966 penny in mint condition, with a rare mint mark, or even one with a unique error, you could be looking at a coin that's worth as much as $89,000. Yes, you read that correctly, $89,000 for a single penny. So, the next time you're sorting through your change or going through your collection, be sure to take a closer look at any 1966 pennies you come across. You could be holding a coin that's worth far more than its original face value. And if you find one in excellent condition or with a minting error, you could be sitting on a small fortune. I hope you've enjoyed this deep dive into the 1966 Lincoln Memorial penny. If you love coin collecting and want to learn more about rare and valuable coins, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an exciting new video. Thanks for watching, and happy collecting.